Welcome. You know, one of the things I love most about being a deer hunter is a lot of my new hunting partners over the years, my girlfriend, my best friend, um, trust me to test their bows or their equipment or ask for my advice on what I believe they should get. But that's besides the point today. But I am going to be doing some target shooting today with my girlfriend's uh, PSE compound bow. It's got the single true glow sight that adjusts up and down. It's got the nice D loop on there, and again, this is a PSE. So today I'm also going to be shooting with gold tips 500 grain with a GPI 7.3. 20-yard shots, nothing more, but it's comfortable. But this way it also allows me to see where she's shooting, where I'm shooting, but it also allows me to tune the bow so that way it hits a little bit more accurately for her. Over the weeks that we've been shooting, we've had a lot of issues with the release and the D loop coming loose. So hopefully we corrected that situation. But as you can see my target back there, 20 yards. It's comfortable, it's simple, and it's easy. For me, I'd like to, especially for my new hunters, I enjoy having them shoot at various ranges, going from anywhere from 3 yards to 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and anything in between, but no more than 40 yards. Because for me, that's maximum bow range. Because then anything past that, yes, again, if you practice at those longer distances and those longer ranges, you'll be effective. But sometimes you just don't get that shot. Sometimes they come in closer. And if you're used to shooting those long distances and one comes in, well, you're SOL. Even on shorter distances, if you practice too much on short distances instead of long distances, well, either way. But for me, over the years, and I've been hunting since 2002, over the years I've been taught don't shoot anything with a bow over 30 yards, 35 yards. And that was my dad telling me and coaching me and teaching me. Anything over 35 yards he will not shoot, because then it starts to maximize the room of error with the arrow. Now again, these are 500 grain gold tips with a 100 grain field point, because we are shooting 100 grain broadheads out of Muzzy, especially the Muzzy Trocar broadheads, not the real small ones, but the ones with the replaceable blades and the tip that you can screw and unscrew that have the Trocar tip. But they're 100 grain broadheads with 100 grain field tips and a 500 grain arrow, so altogether 600. And right now, since this is my girlfriend's bow, this is her first time actually owning something, such a fine piece of equipment with me. I've hunted with Darton, I've hunted with Hoyt, Browning, Bear even. All bows performed exceptionally well except for the Hoyt. It just didn't feel right. It was, the whole thing was just way too heavy for me. But I've had a lot of success with the Dartons. This year I've switched to PSE, obviously using this bow, and as well as center point crossbows, specifically my center point Sniper Elite 385 crossbow, not to be confused with the Sniper Elite 370, the Sniper 370, or anything else. This is the Sniper Elite, the center point Sniper Elite 385 crossbow. I do have a product review for it. Check it out. Again, for that one, I do apologize for the video cut short. So let's get right down to it. Let's see where we're hitting. 20-yard shots. That was a little low. So moving the sight up, making a few corrections here. Loosen that. Bring that up a little, just up a smidge. Just up a smidge. That's nothing. That's it. Nothing more. Nothing fancy. Just up in a smidge. Center. High center, but it's still center. Now, as you see, I'm not holding the bow with my hand. That was another low one. When I draw back on my bows, I see a lot of people having that closed fist, trying to do a lot of this, and to me that twerks the bow, that warps the string a little bit, because then as you draw back, your muscles are contracted and tight. It's like making a fist. You go to throw a punch, and with a closed, tight fist, your muscles are contracted, your muscles are not relaxed, it's going to throw everything off. If you shoot with an open hand and let the weight of the bow sit between your thumb and your index finger, and let the weight of the bow sit right on that webbing with a relaxed grip, it allows you to move more efficiently and allows you to draw back a little bit better. Again, depending on the weight of the bow, depends on how you draw. But usually with drawing back, and again, from what my dad has taught me, is it's straight back. Always make sure that when you do practice drawing back with or without an arrow, make sure you do not let go. Dry firing is one way to get hurt. It is one way to damage your equipment, arrows, bows, whatever the case may be. Always make sure you never draw fire. Keep a good tight grip on everything. A little to the left. And there's nothing wrong with missing. There's really not. There's nothing wrong with missing. There's nothing wrong with it at all. If you miss, you miss. Learn from what went wrong that you did miss. Usually for me, I like to try and keep my arrow groupings within no greater than 6 inches. If I can keep them in a tighter, shorter group, then great. Otherwise, again, if I miss, I miss. I keep trying and I keep practicing until I get what I need. Now I've got another target over here that's about just a little under 5 yards. You can probably see it. If not, I do apologize, but it's a nice block target. So I'll go and retrieve my arrows and we'll keep shooting. We'll keep practicing. And again, practice, practice, practice. There's nothing wrong with practicing. A lot of great hunters, Jackie Bushman, Bill Jordan, again, the Night and Hail team, anybody that hunts public, any bow hunter, respectful bow hunter will tell you that practice is everything. Whether you're hunting on private or hunting on public, it's all about how much you practice and how much effort and determination and confidence you put into your hunting in your off seasons. Obviously, the more you practice, the better you're going to get. Now, with hunting public, there's a lot that goes into hunting public versus, hunting on private property. You got your own property. Yeah, you can go up, set up your stands, your bait piles, your food plots, whatever it is that you need. And then you can go out, monitor to the deer all you need, all that. With public hunting, there's more that goes into it. There's the scouting, the looking for deer sign, looking for deer tracks. You can't necessarily bait on public. You can, but you have to hunt 100 yards away from it. But now with CWD is the DNRs, especially here in Wisconsin, are cracking down on the baiting. So enough about that. Let's get right into shooting. And again, I'm an old school kind of hunter. I grew up in the 90s. I was born in 1990, and I started actually hunting when I was 12 in 2002. And again, from watching Bill Jordan's Team Real Tree, Jackie Bushman's Buckmasters, Ted Nugent, Nightingale, all those old hunting legends is what got me into hunting and got me excited every season. But nothing, when it comes to bow hunting, and I'm going to be humble about it, when it comes to bow hunting and it comes to archery and deer hunting, nothing brought me more joy as a child than watching my dad come home every season with a deer. And that's what got me into hunting, is watching him come home happy as all can be with 2-3 deer in the back of his bed. And well, it became a father and son sport. My great grandfather showed my grandfather showed my dad, and well, my dad showed me. I'm gonna try and keep it alive with my children, my 2 little girls. It's a good center shot. Oh, that was low. That one was off. But that's okay. I got more arrows. I've got more determination and confidence. Off to the left. Center left, but off to the left nonetheless. Well. Crank that back up just a little bit. Have that come up. Loosen, minor adjustment, tighten. There we go. And yeah, now a lot of people ask me, well, how do you know you're shooting at 20 yards? How do you know? Every 15 feet is 5 yards. 15 feet equals 5 yards. Every 3 feet is 1 yard. Every 5 yards is 15 feet. 20 yards, there you go. 20 yards, that's 30 feet. And what I usually do to mark that out too, is I take a tape measure when I'm out practicing. And when I'm out practicing, I'm walking that 20 or that distance, and I have a timer, I have a stopwatch to tell me how long it takes me to walk normally at my normal pace versus slowly picking my legs up as if I'm walking through tall grass. And the reason for tall grass is because it's more of a challenge, and as a hunter I have to pick my feet up so I'm not dragging it and scuffing it and messing up my sound or scaring deer away. By picking up my feet, I am also putting my body through more of an endurance issue to raise my leg in step, so that way I'm moving more slowly and more quietly through the brush. Now granted, yes, a lot of wooded areas don't have tall brush, don't have tall grass, but it's better to walk through thick, tall grass as practice, so this way when you go to walk through the woods, you have that muscle memory in your legs to lift up and move forward as slowly as possible. Kind of warm out here in Wisconsin today. It's closing into the end of August, going into September. Bow season here starts September 18th. Gotta get that practice in, boys and girls. High left, still center. And what I'm doing is every time I'm aiming to, just for reference points, is my little sight right there is not leaving the center. I am not moving my bow at all. I am aiming for center every shot. That's a high left. The other thing to do too when shooting is when you recover your arrows, your target arrows, always make sure that you check your arrow tips every time. Loose arrow tips are going to cause the arrow to fly kind of funky. Now, usually, don't mind me. Open that up a little bit more. Like I said, I'm a real American. I have real addictions. I smoke. So don't mind me. But when I'm out scouting, a lot of the times through my off season between February and August, I'm looking for a lot of deer sign, the old-fashioned way. I'm looking for their trails. I'm looking for tracks in the mud. I'm looking for old rub lines, new rub lines, before season opens in September when they start shedding the velvet. Deer droppings. And usually with looking for deer droppings is you want to find the best color. And when I say the best color is, I mean, you're looking for something that's brownish green that looks like it's wet and fresh versus the black dried out that looks like dehydrated raisins. And what I do is I pick these deer droppings up off the ground and I mush them together between my fingers. The softer and the warmer it is, the fresher it is, and to me that tells me that there's a deer nearby, which is the perfect time for me to get out a pair of binoculars and start really watching the area that I'm around. Now, I know there's a lot of other hunting shows out there where, you know, you don't see these guys smoking or anything else. Again, I'm a real human being, all right? I grew up in a family of smokers. I started smoking. It's calming to me, it's relaxing. Obviously, during my hunting seasons, I don't smoke. I try to chew gum, but I stay away from it until I'm out of the woods. and I make sure that I have all my hunting gear off of me, and all the clothes that I would normally wear during hunting season is off of me before I go and light up a cigarette. So I am smart. I do know what I am doing. But again, back to scouting, I spend a lot of time scouting. I spend a lot of time doing research on the area via aerial views, on satellite topographies, road maps, everything else that I can use to utilize to increase my knowledge of the land that I am hunting. I'm also doing research on my animals constantly, every year. Their eyesight, how they move, what times they move. All of this helps me become a better hunter, because then I have more knowledge of my prey, my quarry that I am after, whether it's white-tailed deer, squirrel, rabbit, elk, bear, moose, caribou, wolf, whatever it is you're hunting. Always study and follow up on research of the animal. How do they see? What colors can they see? Because what kind of foods do they favor versus what kind of foods they don't favor? Surprisingly to a lot of people, yes, deer will eat acorns, but it's not one of their typical favorites. They don't like those fuzzy vegetables that people are putting out. Alfalfa, clover, winter rye, wheat. Yes, they're going to eat it, but still the fact that, well, to a point, there are just some foods that they will not eat, and it's that kind of knowledge that makes me a better hunter, because I know what they'll eat, I know what they like, and I know what will draw them in, especially peanut butter. They love peanut butter. I watched my mom attach a jar of peanut butter to a tree, and well, sure enough, next morning we got 3 deer eating out of the jar of peanut butter. So whatever really works, but you have to put it out in advance. For me, here in Wisconsin, I usually typically put out any bait and baiting food plot seeds, my clover, my brassicas, my alfalfa, turnips, sugar beets, peanut butter, whatever it is that I'm using as a food source to draw the deer in. I use a large area to put it in, but I also put it out early season, right around the very first day that it's warm enough and there's no snow on the ground. Usually right around March, because then that gives the deer time to come in, find it, and keep coming back to that area. Now, I've got plenty of apple trees, and it just so happens that the land that I'm hunting on this year is public, has one single apple tree. Now, how long that apple tree has been there, I don't know. I just saw it this year after hunting it last year, and well, this year it's got apples on it. Well, it's natural food source. It's a natural food source to the deer. It's an apple. It's an apple tree. They love apples. So if this apple tree doesn't have any apples falling, I'm gonna go help them fall by gathering the apples that I've got. The other thing too is practicing from different angles. Practice high, practice from the ground, practice your twists, your turns, your downward angles, maybe even a slightward upward angle if you have to shoot uphill. Practicing at different angles and practicing at different distances, as well as practicing from different height elevations from tree stands. If you're hunting from a ladder stand, try different, adding a section on. Start off small, work your way up, because even doing this in the off season, like I said, the more you practice your angles, your back shots, trying to maneuver around you, the better chances are that you're going to have to memorize and develop that muscle memory to move around. If I've got a deer behind me, well, now I've got to go like this. Whereas if I'm positioned just right, or my tree stand is positioned just right, I can go like this. The sharpest angle I've had to do shooting was like this, down. And to me, that actually kind of really stressed out my shoulder. It stretched out my bicep, and it added a lot of stress to my body, because I didn't allow myself to have enough time to move around, because I didn't have a whole lot of cover. I was also hunting out of an old steel framed climber. But that was also because I wasn't practicing enough when I was younger, when I should have been practicing every chance I had the opportunity. And now these past few years, I've had a lot of opportunities. I've been getting more into archery and getting away from the gun hunting because, well, gun hunting is great. Yes, you can shoot them 100, 150, 200 yards out. No problem. With muzzle loader, you can bring them in 50 yards. You can bring them in 40 yards. No problem. But to me, bow hunting is a sport. It is a challenge. Our ancestors, cavemen, Neanderthals, Native Americans, Apache, Crow, Blackfeet, Lakota Sioux, Sioux in general, Chippewa, whatever Indian tribes were on this continent before the Pilgrims came, they had to use bow and arrows to hunt and kill their prey. They did not have firearms and weapons that we do today. They didn't have the Armalite 15s, the 6.5 Creedmoors, the 30-06 bolt actions. They didn't have any of these firearms that we do today that allow us to reach out and touch them great distances. To me, bow hunting is more of a challenge, and it involves more discipline because you have to bring these animals in closer to the point where they're either right on top of you or right below your stand, and you have to make those practice shots at those distances to get used to that. Again, it's a disciplined sport, and it's all about the discipline. And to me, it's a healthy lifestyle because it kept me off of keeps me off of video games for a good majority of the time, keeps me off of social media. Obviously, I have this YouTube channel, I have Instagram. So follow me on both if you really want to get a good hard look at what it's actually like for a typical Wisconsin deer hunter. And that's what my whole channel is about. That's what all these shows are about for me, is to let you guys see what it's like day to day. Well, maybe not day to day. I'm not going to make a video every day, but when I do make my videos, whenever, it still gives you guys the idea, or at least a broader idea and more knowledge as to how I go about my day-to-day off-season preparation, my off-season practicing, my scouting, taking people out onto the public land that are new to the area and doing guided tours. Yes, I do guided tours. At some point in time, I actually am planning on acquiring my own property, a larger property, to the point where I can set up an archery range and allow new hunters who just graduated hunter safety, or children who want to get into hunting, or parents who want their children to get into hunting. I have that archery range for them to practice on at their discretion, as they please. It's about giving back and connecting. To me, hunting is a family thing. There was no greater memories made with my family than going out hunting, watching how excited my mom and dad got when I shot my first deer, watching how excited my parents got when they shot their deer. To me, it's about connecting. To me, it's about making the memories. To me, it's about connecting with this great sacred planet of ours that has been around for millions of years. And watching these animals, even if I go out and I just see a deer and I don't shoot, that's still a memory to me, because I am connecting with this planet in ways a lot of people don't. But I go out, I practice, I scout, I use scent lures, I use scent killer, I use UV spray, which with UV spray, if you don't know, eliminates the ultraviolet colors even on night vision, to where it dulls the colors completely in the camouflage or the clothes that I'm wearing. Now, granted, yes, I am wearing this wonderful Team Realtree blue polyester shirt. As you can see, I've got the red, white, and blue. This is a navy blue, it's a dark blue, but deer are still gonna pick up on this just like they would with a pair of regular blue jeans. Now, remember, back in the old days, your great-great-grandfather, when he'd go out hunting, he wore flannel. It doesn't have to be camouflage, as long as it's not something that the deer are going to pick up on. And over the years, yes, we've had a lot of scientists finally, be able to help us figure out how the deer see. That's fine. That's great. That allows us hunters to choose our camouflage more closely. But with that also comes how the deer are going to see it. To me, I'd rather blend completely in. That's why I hunt in the shadows. With the sun here being, what time is it now? 2:01. Got the sun almost directly down, but I'm going to hide in the shadows as much as I can, and I'm going to move with the shadows as much as I can, so that way I stay hidden. Now, again, if you like what you see, if you like these videos, go ahead and follow me here on YouTube. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram. Again, it's Wisconsin Spirit of the Wild, because here in Wisconsin, it is wild. We have a riot. We have a ball. Me, my dad, and a few other of the hunting party members that I have. We have a riot when we go out hunting. We really do. It's all fun. We try to make it as much fun as possible, especially for me and the new hunters I bring on board. I really love watching their excitement when we see deer, even in the scouting seasons. I love watching people get deer. I do. So again, go ahead and follow me on Instagram. Follow me here on YouTube. Stick around. We are closing in here on September 18th, 2021, opening morning of bow season for Wisconsin. And right now my center point is shooting on target. Obviously I've got some work to do with the PSE. But again, if you have questions, drop a comment, drop a question in the comments below or on my Instagram page. I will respond. I'm all for it. Keep it with hunting. If you have hunting related questions, go ahead. Sometimes I'll be honest, I don't know a whole lot about hunting, and I'm only 31. I don't know a whole lot. And I'm not going to pretend that I know a whole lot. I'm not going to pretend that I know a lot about the food plot systems or the best places to go for deer hunting or any of that. I'm keeping it real with you guys. That's me. I'm a real Wisconsin deer hunter. I hunt public land. Sometimes if I get the opportunity, I will hunt private. With that all being said, stay tuned for more videos, more content to come up. Follow my Instagram. Again, if you want to follow my Instagram page, go ahead, do so. We have fun here in Wisconsin, chasing the mystic flight of the arrow and the spirit of the wild. Stay tuned.